The privacy of all the people who've been a part of this ethnographic film is strictly maintained. None of the voices of those people have been used in the interviews, and hence all of them are narrated by the narrator itself as part of a special request made by the people of Dudhi Gujjar community. The facts and figures that are presented in the ethnographic film are not manipulated and are the exact representation of what was being told to the researcher. The clarity of the ethnographic film might be low at certain points because the people were apprehensive about a professional camera, and hence it had to be compromised with a normal phone camera. Thank you.
The life they live, the past they share, the identity they have preserved, and the exclusion that is reserved for them socially is their story. This is the story of Dudhi Gujjars or the Banihara Gujjars of Jammu and Kashmir, who, in their vibrant culture and the continued historic lifestyle, have managed to maintain their own identity. In a world that changes within seconds, but today they feel ignored, excluded, discriminated, and silenced. The things that don't seem to fall in place now, the changes that are not taking place with the changing times. After so many years, these people still continue to live a daily reality of a life that has partially changed. Segregation, restriction of movement, and displacement is their story. The Dudhi Gujjars are one of the five major subtribes of Gujjars in Jammu and Kashmir. They are popularly known as Banihara Gujjars. These Gujjars tend buffaloes, sell doodh and milk products. For this reason, they are known as Dudhi, that is, milkmen. Gujjars are the sect who depend upon agriculture and buffaloes and other animals such as cows, goats, and horses for their survival and sustenance. They move within a short distance of about 50 kilometers from their base once a year to mark the summer-winter transition. Gujjar community mostly resides in the far-flung hilly mountainous areas near forests and on the Indo-Pak line of actual control. In the opinion of a sizable number of social scientists, archaeologists, and linguistics, they are the descendants of Gurjars who inhabit a territory between Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, south of the Caucasus Mountains. Due to certain push and pull factors, they migrated from their original habitat to India, to Iran, Central Asia, and Afghanistan. They entered Indian subcontinent through the passes of Hindu Kush, Suleiman, and Kirthar ranges. They are originals from Rajputana, Gujarat, and Kathiawar. They migrated from there due to famine. Historians could not fix an exact date of migration, but some historians are of the opinion that there is name description of these Gujjars in Raj Tarangini, the famous history of Kashmir. They are mentioned as living on the borders of Kashmir in the 9th and 10th centuries. After some time, most of them converted to Islam and got divided into two sects, Gujjars and Bakarwals. Gujjars are rich in terms of cultural heritage. They have distinction over other identities of the state so far as their culture is concerned. Gujjars have their own language, Gojri, which is an offshoot of Indo-Aryan language. Gujjars have their own costumes, traditions, food habits, living habits, and arts and crafts, which varies from area to area. They are particular about their dressing styles, which has been maintained since a long time. The ancient dress code has followed. The Banihara Gujjar men wear pug, kameez, and tehmad, while their ladies wear shirts with strips, churidar salwar, and jutti. In the fast-moving world where people are buying properties, these people have still managed to construct a house of their own. using a special mixture of cow dung and a grass they hunt for. The walls of the house are beautifully adorned with this mixture of grass and cow dung. The women of the household are generally associated with the adornation of the house walls, which is very important to their culture. The males perform more arduous tasks such as herding of the flock and cattle, repairing of tools and equipments, collection of grass. Females, on the other hand, perform the domestic tasks of cooking, washing, fetching water, upbringing of children, collection of wood, spinning and making of woolen garments. Nuri, the mother in the house, is busy making her kula, adorning it with the cow dung from all four sides. She gives the lessons she has learned through her life. She talks of the problems she has faced throughout her lives and how her life is still maintained in the paradigm of the social exclusion, marginalization, and the lack of basic amenities they have. Mornings are early in this community. The first milking is done around 3 am in the morning. Post the milking, the milk is been sold in the parts of the city by both men and women who tend to go together either in their trucks or may take a route on foot from their houses to a place where they can catch hold of a public transport medium. The second milking is done around 6 pm in the evening. The milk that is obtained from the second milking is stored for the curdling into a curd, or they make cheese out of it. The goat milk stands as of prime importance for the community. They tend to make the special cheese known as kalari from this milk, and it holds a great significance in many parts of Jammu and Kashmir. The other women folk who left back home spend their day by taking the cattle out for the grazing purposes. It's a very tedious task on part of these people. They have to make sure that the cattle do not wander off and do not consume any unwanted substances. Even the water that is present around the vicinity of this community seems to be polluted, and they have to make sure that the cattle do not feed upon that. Other than that, the women keep the house clean. All of the floors are spreaded by the mud by these women so that it maintains a uniformity of adornation amongst all of their houses. The ethnographic film is shot in an area which was earlier occupied by some more families, but due to their forced displacement, it is just a family that could be recorded. Life of the kids is equally interesting and important to be noted in this community. Living in an area that is surrounded by the city, although disconnected, the kids are given a certain chance to attend the school. But how many of them? Not all the Gujjar kids are sent to the school. Even when some are sent, they take more pride in their animals and managing other household works. The kids take an equal part in doing activities that the parents do, because they know it's critical for their survival in this world. That 67% of the nomadic Gujjar population in Jammu and Kashmir lives below poverty line. The Tribal Research and Cultural Foundation says grazing lands have shrunk considerably over the years. Almost all the available grazing areas for the community belong to the government. Whenever the state government needs land for hospitals and other construction purposes, these grazing areas are allotted. A sizable part of the community is still landless, without proper shelter and basic amenities. These people's smile hides a lot of pain. I was taken aback and saddened from what I could see. There is a totally different way they live their life. Water, land, which are the basic resources, and all the humans have an equal right upon them. These people even have to fight for that. Bulldozers of the JDA arrive and pull down the concrete structures where these people have constructed their houses. Although the land is disputed, a case has been filed since 10 long years. Many Gujjars refuse to move even if they fear demolitions. They seriously oppose home demolitions and settlement expansions. Home is a paradise for all the humans. Every memory a person shares is in his house. It is enriched with feelings. It cannot be assumed that a person can be thrown out of a place and asked to be happy. They have a family that cannot keep on moving along with them. No land can bound these Gujjars who've been undertaking a nomadic lifestyle since their inception maybe. A land they cannot be tied to. They have an installed hand pump in the vicinity of their houses attached with a motor so that they don't fall short of the water when they are in need. These are the basic problems this community faces in the 21st century. Social exclusion is one of the biggest problems this community is facing right now, and it is because of the terrorism and militancy. The locals tend to confuse them with terrorists. The dense forests, which were once a home for these people, have been shut for them. They cannot take their cattle and follow the same transhuman paths as they used to follow earlier. These people have horrific accounts of meeting the terrorists, which can easily fill up anybody's eyes. But what is that is making them sad is the marginalization that they are facing due to it. They're not allowed to move around freely. The grazing lands have become scarce due to this very reason, wherein these people cannot move. Thus, it is their story of maintenance of identity they have been living with, the problems of social exclusion they address on a daily basis, and above all, the amenities that have been taken away from them or they haven't received yet. This is their story, the story of the Dudhi Gujjars of Jammu and Kashmir.